So you built an audience, but you find yourself in a position where you're stuck between ad revenue that's unpredictable and inconsistent brand deals that sometimes don't pay you what you're worth, sometimes don't pay you at all. You find yourself in a position where you offer things like free products, free trials to products, free partnerships instead of money. You find yourself in a position where every time you try to sell to your audience, your engagement drops. You're struggling for views. You are now in a position where the audience you built, you're a slave to. Honestly, getting into this game, you had different intentions. You wanted to be in a position where you could make money from home. You could have time freedom and location freedom. Now you spend hours a day slaving, scripting, editing videos, basically trying to understand what your audience wants from you without getting the pay that you deserve and without actually providing. This is something I will get to later in this video, the value that your audience needs from you. Now, if you struggle with these pains, if these are your problems right now, I want to guarantee you this, that by the end of this video, you will not just understand how to monetize your audience as soon as today, but at the same time, you will understand how to keep your revenue consistent every month, month in, month out. And I will give you an action plan at the end of this video to make sure those things are consistent and are very, very doable for you. So why listen to me? How do you know I'm not full of shit? Well, over a year ago, real quick, my backstory as to how I got into the space. Over a year ago, I found myself in a position where I was lucky enough to be dialing for a creator. And basically my job was quite simple. It was to call up leads who had filled out a form to get help from the creator with a mentorship or a course or a program, something to get help with the current situation and basically to get to the desired state, which is most likely where the creator was at the time. So I want to be like you. Could you teach me how to be like you? And I'm ready to pay, whatever. So that was me dialing them up, basically asking some questions just to see if they were actually seriously interested or if they weren't. In the first day of me dialing up these leads, in the first day, I sold $8,000 worth of mentorship to random people. At this time, it was like between 20 and 30-year-olds, like, sorry, between 18 and 20-year-olds, 18 and 30-year-olds, what am I saying? 18 and 30-year-olds. This just blew my mind. Over the course of the next 60 to 90 days, I ended up sending over 100,000 in mentorships to these people. And this just had me thinking, like, first of all, this was a small creator. This was someone in a niche that wasn't anything really, in my opinion, like relevant, you know, to human beings as a whole. Like, I mean, when I say that, I mean nothing like finance or nothing like, you know, like fine art or teaching people to sell on Amazon. This was really something random. And again, it had me really in a position where I felt like I needed to understand what systems were in place that made me able to do this. I was just part of a larger system, right? But that made me, or set me on a track basically where I wanted to find out how this worked and how this money was being made behind the scenes. And that puts me where I am today. So very simply, I want to go over the problems that you have right now. 5 problems that I guarantee you're having. If you're not able to monetize your problem, you have at least, if you're not able to monetize your solution, sorry, to your audience, you're having at least one of these problems. And then also the solutions to every single one of these problems with an action plan as to what to do. So without further ado, let's get into the presentation. So you are 100% going through one of these issues if you're having problems monetizing your audience. So yeah, the first one is probably the most important and the most common amongst new creators or creators coming up or creators that have never sold before. The fear of selling. Honestly, I don't know how to still, like, after working with countless creators, selling for them, building out funnels for them, building out communities for them, I still don't know how to convey this enough. You cannot be scared to sell to your audience simply because your audience needs to be sold to for a number of reasons. First of all, if you don't sell the information that you have to your audience, they are most likely not going to take action on the things that you need them to do to get the results that they want. Money is acquired through pain. Sacrificing money is also painful. They need to feel a pain of sacrificing something for the thing that they're sacrificing to be worth enough for them to actually take action. I hope that makes sense. I hope it wasn't too complicated. But in order not to spend too much time on this, just understand this. You cannot be afraid to sell to your audience simply because you are doing them a disservice by not putting all your effort into something that is actually worth your time and can get them solutions that they do require. And also to put money in your pocket and make sure you are equipped enough to continue what you're doing, that continue solving the problems that you're solving down the line for as long as you need to. The next problem, not fixing a big enough problem. This is a variable. This depends on the kind of creator you are. Honestly, if you're a creator that simply entertains on the internet, you most likely don't have anything to sell. I want you guys to wrap your mind around this. Entertainment is not something where you can charge a lot of money for. If you have someone as big as Drake, world-class artist right now, charging 100 and something for tickets, right? So you can see Drake live for 100 and something dollars. If that's the case, then you literally have to be a mega superstar to make millions off selling to people. Or you go the route of solving a big enough problem to where you can have a small audience and monetize that audience and make a shit ton of money from them. It's simply that simple. If Drake was healing people that came to his concerts, I guarantee you the ticket prices can 10x overnight. It's a stupid example, but you get what I mean. You need to fix a big enough problem so that your small audience can be monetized. So if, for example, you're educating people on how you solve the particular pain that you know they have and you know it's painful to them and it's affecting them and their families and their lives, then you can charge them to create an even better solution for them and make sure they attain those goals that they actually do have and solve those problems that they actually do have. The third is audience misalignment. This comes from basically not understanding the business aspect of being a creator. You need to dive deep into market research. And when I say market research, I know you're responsible for building your audience. But at the same time, you need to understand the exact elements as to why your audience is your audience in the first place. What they want from you, why they're with you, why they watch your content, what type of content they like to see best, what they would actually buy if you were to sell something, what wouldn't piss them off if you offered, how to frame that offer so that it makes sense to them and they're actually interested in buying what you have to sell. Now, no systems in place for monetizing. This is not something I advise any creator to do themselves. This is something I advise creators to partner up with someone to actually achieve, because systems are not something that are easy to understand. And genuinely, even if you do understand them and you are able to do them, it's just not time efficient for you. So the most ideal situation for this is to partner up with someone who understands the systems and understands building out funnels, building sales teams, managing the sales team, hiring and placing a setup for you, basically scripting your ads, maybe even going as far as to scripting your content, doing the market research for you so you don't have to do all those things, and then simply giving them a cut of what you earn because you can make a lot more money with them. So again, this is not something I would advise creators to do by themselves, but everything I just said is essential if you want to make a decent living off the content you create. The last is probably the most important, a community. You need to understand that if you don't have a place where you're housing the people that you market to, make content for, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. If you have strictly a YouTube audience or maybe even an Instagram audience, you're doing yourself a huge disservice, because these platforms are algorithm based. These platforms could ban you at any time. Anything can happen. These platforms could crash. You don't then have the information of the people that you should be marketing to, you should be helping with your problems, simply because You didn't house them properly. You didn't give them that feel of a community. Now, these are the problems that you're having. It's quite paradoxical, again, to say that followers don't equate money. We have a client that our team worked with that has 2,000 followers, and he was able to pull in $54,000 in his first month of marketing to his audience because he solved a big enough pain, and he was able to we were able to implement systems for him and with him. Now, to the solutions. The fix: sell or be sold. This goes back to what I said the first time. If you're not selling, you are basically the commodity. You are selling your time, whether you know it, for a slice, a very insulting slice of the pie. You're selling your time for the money you get from ad revenue, for the money you get from maybe sponsorships, or for the free products you get from that. If you're not selling to your audience, you sell or you're being sold. It's that simple. Now, to solve a nagging problem, literally, again, you need to make sure that the problem you're solving is big enough for your audience. There is enough pain with the solution you're providing so that this pain can be worth a lot, and then you can sell to them, and then you can monetize for yourself and for your audience. Market research. I already said this before, but it is so important and so vital to understand your market and understand your audience, what they want, why they want what they want, what pains they're genuinely going through, and then understand how to solve those problems for them in the way that they want them to be solved. That's where the money is made. Building sales systems. So again, you need a system for marketing, for getting in leads, for getting consistent eyeballs to your content, to the assets that you have, and then also a system for monetizing that attention that you then have and turning that attention into money, basically. Lastly, you have the community build out. How's your following? That is the solution. You need to have a community where you basically understand that these people are here for a certain need. And if you understand that need, everything boils down to market research. If you understand why people follow you, housing or community is so vital for them, because you have to understand the solution you're also providing. You are putting people in a place where they are safe enough to share their problems and their pains because they're all going through the same problems and pains. And you are the catalyst for that change in their lives, for that improvement. I hope this is clear. Have a nice one.